This is propaganda I will not be falling for. Alternative / goth edition. Microlabels. You're just goth. There is no need to nitpick what type you are. We all listen to the music, we all have the ideologies, we all are in the subculture, therefore we are all goth. You don't need to be a certain type. I think the only time I really use microlabels is when I'm using certain hashtags, depending on what look I'm doing, like trad goth or whatever, just to reach specific audiences. But in the real world, I don't just go around saying, oh yeah, I'm trad goth. No, if people ask, I say I'm goth. Liking mainstream bands, not liking some of the big like OG goth bands or whatever subculture you're part of, or having like one of your favorite songs from that band be one of their biggest hits. It's one of their biggest hits for a reason. Fast fashion. Mass-produced garbage in capitalism has rotted your brains and killed your creativity. Squares cosplaying as rebels. Alternative is counterculture, counterculture is political. If you don't want to live an alternative lifestyle, then stop claiming to be alt. The trad goth arguments. Stop arguing over what classifies as real trad goth and what today's should be called. And calling it drag goth is just stupid because goth makeup comes from new wave, which was inspired by drag, and also another huge inspiration of ours is Elvira, and Elvira was also inspired by drag. So it's like, we have loved the queers since day one, and we have been inspired by drag in different ways since day one. So calling it drag goth when it's always been drag inspired, it does not make sense. Hating on sex workers. And I have a whole video about this in my Goth 101 playlist where I talk about alternative and goth's history with sex workers and how sex work influenced the scenes and the cultures. And, you know, people try to say that like supporting sex workers or being alternative and a sex worker makes you a poser because it goes against our values, when it's actually the complete opposite. And like, how can you hate on sex workers while wearing fetish gear and having Betty Bangs? Only listening to mainstream bands. Absolutely not. Branch out, explore the culture and the subgenres, actually involve yourself in the subculture's music. There is so much goth music out there and so many subgenres to goth that you are truly just missing out if you only listen to mainstream bands. And honestly, some of my favorite goth bands aren't even mainstream, or at least not like The Cure, Sisters of Mercy, Susie and Banshees, Bauhaus type of mainstream, you know? Like, just branch out, explore, find hidden gems from the 80s and 90s that didn't get the love they deserved back then. Find modern, new goth bands that deserve more love now. Like, just explore. Wearing shirts of bands you don't listen to, because literally what is the point? No, I'm not going to ask you to name 3 songs, but if I see you wearing a shirt of a band I like, I'm going to get really excited and I'm going to want to talk to you about it and like geek out over this, what I think is a shared interest, and then you don't even know who they are, or you just don't like them. It's like, well, fuck, you know? Like, and if you don't know them, it's kind of, I mean, I can show you them and then maybe get you into them, but it's still like, what is the point? Like, I don't understand. Core. Core is to the alternative scene what Lil is to the rap scene. And it also just takes the heart and culture out of whatever it's trying to be, just completely rips it apart, waters it down, and turns it into this half-assed bullshit that is 9 times out of 10 just about aesthetics and not what it's actually trying to be. Jenna Ortega hate. I don't care, okay? I love her. I never fell for the I'm tired of seeing her everywhere train. First of all, she was not everywhere. I wanted to see her more, okay? I wasn't seeing her enough. I don't know where y'all were seeing her, but I wasn't seeing her. But yeah, I mean, she is cool. She's beautiful. She's talented. She respects and appreciates goth culture. We learned that after the whole Wednesday dance situation. And also, y'all might get mad at me for this, but she is like the modern Winona. And even Tim Burton said that they shared a lot of similarities and that Jenna actually helped him learn to have his love for film again because he had been in this rut and wasn't really as happy as he used to be. And Jenna changed that because he saw Winona in her. And her and Winona became close because they were so similar. So to me, she is this Jen's Winona, and y'all just need to let her be that. And this one's probably going to be a bit controversial because it's TikTok and everything's controversial. But this weird uptick in don't wear crosses or rosaries if you're not Christian because it's disrespectful. That's the point. Goths have been doing that since the 80s. It is a form of rebellion and protest. We call out toxicity within religion. We rebel and protest against religion and Christianity especially. And we do that through symbolism, through metaphors and music, lyrics, all of that. Also, I just like to point out, y'all don't own rosaries or prayer beads. They've existed longer than Christianity. They date back to Hinduism. Crosses were just torture methods, and it was also a pagan symbol before it was ever a Christian symbol, but it was also just a torture method. So that's pretty fucking punk rock. If I want to wear a cross, I'm not gonna wear a cross. The only thing you'll really have is the crucifix, and that's because Jesus is on it. I don't know, I feel like it's more of an atheist, Satanist type of thing to wear a piece of imagery that depicts Jesus being murdered. I've never understood that logic with Christians. They wear, and like they'll get pictures, and it's like Jesus is being murdered and nailed on a cross, and they're like wearing that around, and that's supposed to be respectful. I don't know, that's never made sense to me. If someone did that to me, I think that was pretty damn disrespectful. But so that is all that I can think of in the alternative and goth scene that I will not be falling for. Let me know if you agree or disagree, or what propaganda you won't be falling for in the scene.